So alright people, welcome back to another episode of Chatterbox, where if a boy violate, we just shot them a box. Alright, so on this episode, we got another special guest here with us today. Would you like to introduce yourself to the people then?
No problem. I'm calling me Gully Chris, aka that white boy that be dancing in the Jamaican clubs.
Gully Chris.
Yes.
Yeah, well, for a lot of people don't know, Gully Chris left on the scene a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Is it man? Wait, so your first video, where though?
That was 2010.
2010. What the hell? Yo, you see that no while?
If you lick a load.
Everything just jump up over.
Dumpy night place I want. Yo.
The Roman dice, man.
Mm-hmm. Dog, a load of they look like in a war zone when there's fish just a splash out of water.
Yo.
Yeah, so you said you've been on this, your first video was like 2010.
Yeah, it was I think it was uploaded October 2010. It wasn't a playing video. Yeah. And then I mess around, like joke around on them thing that like I wasn't taking it serious. I was just
having fun.
Mm. So my friend uploaded it. Next thing you know, all of a sudden 100,000 views. I'm like, what the fuck? 100,000 views. I'm like, this is not real.
It's crazy.
Yeah. She uploaded. She put crazy white Jamaican dancer. I think that was the attraction.
Yeah.
I mean, I tend to like. I really feel like, and I say this also because of Mod White Jamaican. I feel like when people were searching up white, a lot of people were searching up white Jamaican because of him. Because he was the hottest thing. People in my school was talking about him before I was getting popular. They were like, "Yo, you seen that Mod White Jamaican on YouTube?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen him." And I'm like, "Yeah, he's good." Like, you know what I mean? So, and then my best friend, of course, you know what I mean? He was like, "Yo, this is your cousin." I'm like, "No." Oh shit. I'm like, "Yeah, I think it is." So he might be part Greek. You don't know.
So your best friend in Jamaica?
So, no, my best friend, he grew up in this. He was born in New York, but his parents were Jamaican. So
you get introduced to the culture?
Yeah, from him. Basically his family. So, I can mention that. Like, so I was born 1990. Him and his family. There was Jamaicans in the part of CT I grew up, but it's mostly Bridgeport, Hartford, New Haven,
right.
Stamford is more. Norwalk is a little bit, you know what I mean? But him and his family moved to Norwalk in 2001. I think after 9/11, and after all that chaos has happened, a lot of stuff was going on in New York. They came and moved next door. And of course, like I said, around them time, I only know a little bit about Jamaica. Like, not even. The only thing we didn't know about Jamaica was Bob Marley,
smoking weed,
reggae music, and fucking what was the movie again? Shatters and the
Dancehall Queen.
Dancehall Queen and the
Belly. Third World Cup.
Belly. The movie with Denzel Washington. When he played a cop in Jamaica? He did. He played a movie.
No, I'm moving him on.
But the accent wasn't so great. I think he even spoke about it. But it was an okay movie. It was about him being a cop. And then what was the bobsled team? Jamaican bobsled team. I swear to God, that alone, that was the only thing I knew about Jamaica. And
it says the Mighty Quinn.
The Mighty Quinn with Denzel Washington.
No, I never seen that. I gotta watch that.
Hey, speaking of Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon's finest.
Yeah, he's from Borderline. It's at Monday Lane, right? He's from
Monday Lane. I said what good come from Mount Vernon.
Huh? Monday Lane and that's borderline Mount Vernon and Bronx, bro. They both share that street, bro.
Cut it out. Vernon come from.
Nah.
Now he's representing from Mount Vernon. Shout out to him.
I
love Mount Vernon. Even though I'm a CT head, it's something about Mount Vernon. It's not that far, and it was just always like something about it. I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. It was always close. I got a lot of people I know out here, and then Mount Vernon was just a nice little like chill out spot where you get away from the big city, kind of back away from the attention. So Yeah, so 2001 was around the time when I met him and his family. Around the time that all I knew was hip hop and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
My brother was an old school hip hop head, so he put me on to that.
So you was dancing to hip hop?
I was dancing to hip. I wasn't like a choreo type person because we didn't have enough money for me to go to no dancing school. So I just used to like follow what I saw on TV.
Right, vibe.
Yeah, and then after a while, I'm hanging out with him. The part of Newark where we at is considered the hood. Well, why? It's considered. Oh shit! Why? Let me catch you. Oh gosh. Some American talk you have to watch out. It's the streets, but it's not like the most dangerous part where I grew up at. So but if somebody new comes in, we're not gonna be like, oh,
right.
You know what I mean? We welcome it. So, but me and him had that vibe, like, yo, this is a friend right here. I hardly knew him. And then after a while, I'm like, yo, I'm listening to Patois. I'm like, yo, what are they? I'm like, yo, wait, first of all, I'm like, I thought this was another language. Meanwhile, I'm like, wait, some of the words sound English.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, wait, so it's not another language? Even though some people will say it's a different, but it's like a dialect. It's a dialect.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, no, Patois. I'm like, yo, I kind of understood that a little bit. And then I would ask questions, what does this mean? What does this mean? After a while, I'm just like, oh.
It's like,
right.
Yeah, get on. Yeah, dog. You know what that mean, no.
Right.
And then, I would hear his mom and his dad play music, and I'm like, yo, this shit kind of, hey.
Vibes.
Hey,
yeah.
Let's get it. So, around 2002, that's when Sean Paul was getting, just give me the light. And then, dog, me said, everybody. I mean, every time you turn on Hot 97 or 105.1, it was like, let's get into that Sean Paul. I'm like,
Yeah, start catch on.
Yeah, yo. So I'm loving it. I'm like, yo, this is fly. And then I just started like watching the video, and then what was it? Towards the end of 2002, and I think it was beginning of 2003, and then Pondy River come out, and then Pondy River that changed the game.
Right.
That was.
Want to catch a dance there? Hey, but they can't tell you nothing.
Can't tell me, yo, what? And then I remember me and him would like.
So you danced? You used to dance it?
He used to dance, but and stuff. He had his own journey, but now he's right now. Like I was telling you, he live in Miami, but he's like, yo, you kind of got me into the groove, like trying to catch up, like trying to learn these dances again. I'm like, do it, bro. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, he sometimes he messaged me on Instagram or TikTok with the reels. He's like, I'm practicing this right now.
right. Try to catch it.
Yeah.
And then do dancing now, like them as easy as back in the day.
Yo, yeah.
What the bunks to hard for do? You see me I say? Where the wedding at hard for do? You see me I say? No them dancing are hard, so no it's like
where the way to go?
Yeah?
Oh, where the way to go?
Huh? No. No, wait, yeah.
Jiggy. Yeah.
So you say you Greek, right?
Yeah.
Greek
American, yeah.
Greek American.
So
you was born here.
born here, yeah.
Your family. is
Yup.
from Greece.
Both mom and dad. So I'm first. That's another thing. Some people are like, you first generation Greek. So
Yeah.
like I know how to speak Greek. I grew up around it. My grandparents. That's what they spoke most of the time. My mom and my uncles and my dad. They speak pretty good English. But yeah, I know how to speak Greek too. Like, so that's another plus. Like, first generation Greek American. I also grew up with a good amount of Latinos too, where I'm at. But I don't know, for some reason I should have took Spanish, but I never.
You never gravitate.
I never grabbed.
You did away from the Jamaica and fix 15 one.
Yeah, but I do love Spanish. The most relaxing thing, summertime when you hear salsa or bachata or merengue.
Yeah.
You're hearing that shit. You on the beach. That's like the most chill out thing. I remember as a kid, some of my neighbors would play, and I'm just like, ding. I'm like, hey. But yeah, I gravitated towards more just hip hop and dancehall.
Yeah.
For some reason, it was nothing against.
Just vibes.
If I had,
That's what you felt.
and I think growing up with ADHD, that was another thing. I always procrastinated. I was like, oh, maybe I'll take Spanish. I'll take Spanish.
Right.
The next thing you know, I'm like, oh shit, I'm a junior in high school. What the did I should have took it. I should have took it.
Right.
Because speaking Greek, like when Spanish people tell me to pronounce a word, it's easy to pronounce because it's almost like, because Greek and like Latin is almost like
Similar.
so it's almost the
Same
same.
like Italian is kind of close as well.
Yeah.
A Latin, them say Latin not that long, right? A Latin not that long.
Yeah, but
It's dying now or something.
yeah,
like
it's
that.
like I think the only people that really know it is like
Natives.
you can say like the popes and shit, like they know it. But Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese that derives from the Latin. That's the Latin family language.
So you be doing you ever like do Greek dances as well? Or?
You know what? I practice with my mom. My mom is such a great dancer when it comes down to Greek dances. It's just that, you know, she's a little older, so she never had any videos.
Yeah.
So my dad a little bit too, but you know, they divorced when I was like 1 year old. So you know, but my mom is a dancer though, so I think that kind of runs in the blood because if you ever see her do some Greek dance, woo, vibes like she. You have a few different types of Greek dancing. You know, they got that Zorba, the Greek dance, where it's kind of like you hold each other on the shoulder and you just boom, boom.
Oh, that's
You was slap a vibe. Greek that?
Yeah. It's
That's
very
crazy.
similar to what you see with like a lot of Arabic dances too. Like they hold each other on the shoulder.
That's like some bar mitzvah type of thing.
But yeah, them too. It's like it's like a line dance.
I like that shit though. That shit is
You know,
dope.
they be getting it in.
So what your parents used to say when I'm see how the like they had started like Jamaicans and stuff like
It was
that.
like-
Gravitated to Jamaicans.
And my mom was like, "That's kind of," she said, "That's crazy that you know that." I was like, "Well, Jerome kind of like."
Oh, so them no germ or something.
Yeah, so because it was, we grew up in like like this condos, kind of like
Oh, so
everybody's.
they're-
If you're not punny, yeah, you gotta go. I'm like, why are you knocking?
Okay.
So yeah, Connecticut, and that's. I mean, y'all know this, but of course, people watching, like the part of Connecticut I grew up in is just like a mini version of New York. That's why, like, I laugh when people be like, "Oh, we from Connecticut? Connecticut's nice, right?" I'm like, huh. Which part of Connecticut got top on? Come on, no. You ain't talking about Bridgeport. You ain't talking about Hartford. Hell no.
Waterbury.
Oh,
I think the Hartford good. I thought Hartford was good.
well, it's certain parts.
Certain parts.
Yeah.
But they got the hood. Why?
Why?
Out there. Hartford.
Stanford.
Listen, I know a girl that used to live in the Bronx, and she worked in a hospital in Hartford, and she posted on Snapchat like, "Yo, this is crazy. I was just in the room and I left. And she come back. There's a hole in the glass and the bullet sitting on the floor.
That's crazy.
Yeah, in the hospital.
Wait, she used to live in the Bronx and work in
No, she used to live in the Bronx. But she lived out there.
Oh,
So she was working, and she came out the room, and she go do whatever she do, and she come back, and the glass is broke. There's a hole in the glass, and there's a bullet, the fragment on the bullet, on the front,
Yeah.
the casing.
I've heard some stories about her. This one
Yeah.
girl told me back in the days, they're talking about early 90s, the gang shit was so crazy. They even had girl. She said she saw a girl shoot a rival gang member's girl dead. Not in front of her, but like, you know, but when it was beef, they didn't care. They aired just shit out.
Right.
And this happened in Harvard. She said she saw the girl just bang, 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 shoot her right there. She was like, I think that she said the girl saw her, but she was just like,
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Oh, yeah.
Allegedly.
No, man, never see a video and come dig for your
What's that? Oh,
Where's
shit.
that girl? This case was cold since the 90s.
We got something.
listen, hey,
Box another file.
the girl would tell me I didn't even know her name. She just told me she was from Hartford, right? And she loved my dancing, and we just got to talking.
Yeah,
At that time, I knew her name, but
And she
now I
told you that
forgot.
over 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Psychiatry.
This was 2010. Thank you very much, officer. Oh
Alright,
shit.
so another question I want to ask you. So how did you get the name Gully Chris?
Okay, now this is where it gets funny.
It was a gully side. This is a.
I go to say, I want them boy.
Unruly.
Don't say Gaza.
Unruly.
Unruly.
Gully to say
All right.
I said Gully.
For real?
Chris.
No,
Long,
no,
long
no,
time
no,
ago.
Same time when they used to say it.
And I was like, 06,
We
bro.
still going for real?
Yeah, you know what
Like,
I said?
oh,
Gully.
We got Gaza. For me, know I'm be a Gaza.
Yeah.
Bro, I
this one
remember
used to
saying
say
man
shit
not that
Gully,
far
man.
in yet, bro. That was like 06.
Young
So like 06.
So it was Gully, then Gaza, then Aruli.
Girl, I want you in my life.
Yeah, I couldn't tell us nothing but my water, Reggie.
That's crazy. What's my hear that? That's crazy.
Oh shit. No, so a little bit. Okay, so 2003. We're around them time that BET. I think I was pushing out some of the dancehall like Billy Man. Welcome to King of the Dancehall.
Yeah, that's
so
my shit.
after a while, we would practice the moves, but it's like I stopped for a little bit because they weren't like really promoting any kind of like any dancehall songs like that. So I couldn't keep up with any of the new dancehall tune them on. What's the new dance really? We didn't even know because I didn't have a computer, he didn't have a computer because none of us could really afford it at that time.
Right.
So after a while, his dad got himself like a computer, and he was keeping up with like Alliance on around them time. That's when it was hot. And then a little bit after I got a computer, that's when I find out said like Vibes Cartel left the Alliance and all of these things. I think that was like whatever around them time then. And my best friend's dad, he's from other parts of Jamaica, but he said I think most of the time he grew up, it was in Greater Portmore. Okay. So when that happened, he was like, God, Cartel are my artists. And I was like, oh, at that time, I was listening to everybody, even with hip hop. That's when, even to this day, when people say, yo, who's your favorite artist? And say, yo, there's too many good artists. We can't say which one are my favorite. I can't limit myself. So, after a while, I'm listening to everybody, but when Movado started doing thing, I said, yo, I love the way how him sing him song them, but like same time it's a bad man song. You know what I mean? When he did that shit, listen, I put some American peoples on the game when he came out with Amazing Grace, Shot Fly, the boy, the mattress, shoot up the bed. Listen, I said, yo, the man really like take Amazing Grace and turn it in a bad man song. Like,
at the time, I couldn't say a good tune, like I was gonna say.
So I used to joke with him. I used to be like, yo, Movado, my artist. And say, yo, yeah, Gully youth, know, right? And it was a joke. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'm a Gully youth. So like they was my boy Jerome, and he was like, yo, Gully, and Gully out here means you Gully, you getting Gully. Yeah. So my American friend said, oh, you Gully Chris, okay, Gully Chris. So I'm like, but before my name was Gully Chris, it was Bleak. Memphis Bleak.
Yeah.
I forgot. I don't know if I talked about that last time. So here's another history. We used to joke and call myself Memphis Bleak because all my friends used to be like, oh, you the only Greek around black people, so you a black Greek. I was like, you damn right. He's like, yeah, let's go. So I used to say, yo, Bleak. I had that name for...
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, I forgot to mention. So that was... And because of that, I actually like bought all of like Memphis Bleak's albums. It was like, yo, there's a reason why they call me Bleak, Memphis Bleak.
Right.
That's an artist, Memphis Bleak.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. So after that, then it was Gully Chris. Then it was just like, oh, Gully, oh, you Gully, okay, Gully. Yeah. So that it came from because
you rate Movado.
Yeah, you rate Movado, and around the time that everybody did, I said Gaza. I'm like, oh, the one when I said Gaza. Right. All right, me I said Gully. Me I take out. That was a joke. Like, oh, y'all trying to jump me? Okay, come on.
Yeah,
like,
it was a real thing.
Me I said Gully. You know what I mean? And the joke was too like, oh, y'all jumping on the bandwagon, because all of a sudden, a lot of people in Southwest Connecticut, because we ain't got no football or sports teams. We always went for New York because we closer. Yeah. All of a sudden, everybody start like Patriots. Yeah. I said, oh, so now all y'all Patriot fans. Y'all used to like Giants. Now you like Patriots. Why? Because they win in every game now? Okay. Y'all turn cold ass motherfuckers.
Right.
So
Patriots are Boston, right?
Yeah. They so I used to be like, oh, I was like, yo, the one I jump on the bandwagon. Like, I said go to the one. So after that, it became like a joke, but like, Gully Chris. So, I was just like, all right, me I represent for Gully then, all right. Why did everybody else say Gaza? So
that's dope.
That's how I got the name. It was a cross between.
That makes sense.
It's actually a cool way how I got the name. So I said, you know what? It's a part of me.
Right.
It's a part of me.
I was going to ask you, how did you first get into dancehall? But you already speak on that, so move on to the next question.
Maybe. Oh, okay. Maybe I could say. Wait. who first get me into the party scene though? Should I?
Oh yeah. You could definitely.
You didn't. Okay, all right. So after a while, the person who really first put me into like the party scene and introduced me to like where if it go on them thing that was Miss Riot. I mean, no, yeah. Her real name is Shatia. You know, I consider her like a sister. Like, you know, we've always been cool since day one. Mm-hmm. Same thing with her. She's American, but she grew up with the culture. I think her dad is part Jamaican, but he's American though. I forgot what happened. Mm-hmm. I forgot if her dad is part Jamaican. So sorry, Shatia. History. Because I mean, it was crazy. Her dad knows my brother. Because my brother's old school head too. They all born in the 70s. They grew up with each other. They all. But I forgot if his dad was Jamaican or his mom was. But same thing with her. Like she got into it, and she kind of like brought me to a few spots, in New Haven. She brought me to this one spot in the Bronx. She introduced me to a few people. She brought me first time a New York dancehall party was in Long Island. She brought me to this place called shit. Okay, all the Long Island Brooklyn dancers will know what I'm talking about. I think it was called like Agua Dolce. I think it was Agua Dolce. I'm gonna say that. They'll probably correct me if anyone of them must see that. But I met a lot of the dancers around that time and because I met them, I got to keep some links. And then, so she introduced me to the dancehall scene, Miss Riot, Shatia, my friend. So she's the one who really got me into the dancehall party scene, I'll say. And then after that, then I started going to the Bridgeport party scene in 2010. And from 2010, I started making a name for myself. Yeah.
Started branching out.
Yeah.
Come on, Bronx, you don't want her.
Yeah.
Gonna make it road.
The first time I think I made my name in New York was, okay, you can say Agua Dolce, but I didn't go to like another really New York party until it was Brooklyn City Vibes Thursday, when Jamaican did I keep them thing, and it was Temptations, I think, in Brooklyn, and Temptations was like open till 6 a.m. Dog, we did a party till the sun come out. I'm like,
the good old days.
Bro, it was 6 a.m. it was done. And I'm like, and then after that, like, the amount of people were like, yo, I got to meet the Grown Zero dancers, or Zero Nation. I got to meet Nikki Fashion. I got to meet, you know what's crazy? Man Michelle was there.
Remember.
Man Michelle.
Yeah.
Man Michelle was at my first, and I got to meet her. She talked to me for, I was like, you know, I tried to speak to her for a little bit, but you know, said the music load on. At the end of the party, I think she left because enough people left around like 4 because, you know, usually it's done 4, but this one, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
So
you know party night.
Yo. And I got to meet, like I said, Zero Nation. I got to meet Mika Diamond. I got to meet some next dancehall queen.
Maka Diamond?
No, Mika.
Mika?
Mika Diamond is dancehall queen in Brooklyn. And then Savage? No. Gwen Savage. She around them time that her and Mika was like, and Nikki Fashion was like,
damn girl.
Yeah. Especially in Brooklyn, yeah. So that kind of made a name for myself because I got to keep the link with them. And then after 2011, it was a good look.
I remember so much name.
You ever been to Jamaica?
Huh?
You ever been to Jamaica?
One time. I only been to Jamaica one time, sadly, and it was 2012. Late January. It was like towards the end of January. I went with a friend called his name is really named Leon, but them call him Gambino. He did music, but he was more of like a local artist in Connecticut, and you know, but he just never got the. And then he started focus more upon him job on work on things. He sees that he was like still I make music, but you know what I mean. But I went with him. I met his family in Mandeville. What?
Are you?
Galdeville. Sorry. But we was only there for like 4 days. You know what I mean. So never really get to like go a certain place.
Oh, you go Jamaica.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't like a tourist. Like you go.
We was in the country. I was in the country of
Mandeville.
Yeah, Mandeville. I was where his cousin lived. outside, the person had a cow in his freaking backyard. It's a cow that? I'm like, yo, that's a cat. And that morning, I wake up and say, I'm like, what? Yo, I looked outside the window and there was a big freaking cow and, eat grass. I'm like, what the But it, because it wasn't a farm, but it was just like a backyard. Like, what the fuck?
The random cow.
Yeah, so
I'm like,
Man, not even get
in
wake
the
up by
random-
rooster.
I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, yo, really? And they say, yo, they ain't our country, brother.
Yeah.
And then we went to, we was mostly in Mandeville. We was in Mandeville town. We was in Kingston for like a little bit, but I guess they wanted to prepare for the party and do some stuff. And then we went to, one party in Westmoreland. But the thing about Jamaica was, yo, it's so, especially at nighttime, because, like, especially here, in the tri-state, we're surrounded by bright lights constantly, even in our nighttime. Nah, when I was in Jamaica, bro, like, I looked at the stars and I'm like, holy shit, I could see the stars, bro.
Right.
Like, this is the thing that we've been like, especially here, like, I'm like, you could barely see the stars. I'm in Jamaica, it's like the stars are like mad close. I'm like,
Yeah, next year,
I'm like, yo, it's like the stars are like close. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, are the stars about to hit Earth? I'm like, but it's so peaceful. And then, you know what's peaceful too, though? And I hear it because, ever since, I've been with the whole social media thing, and more people who follow me from Jamaica, at nighttime when you hear the
crickets.
God, if you want a nice sleep, you want to talk about ASMR, that's ASMR right there. Hearing those crickets, I'm like,
Peanut Wally.
That's what I use, bro.
yeah.
Google,
Peanut
Google, my time to bed
I
now.
don't know what it is. It's
Sleep
not.
cricket.
I found that so relaxed. I'm like, oh, this is a peaceful night. Peaceful.
That's how you go sleep for real?
So one time I Google, one said, okay Google, bedtime. It started play cricket.
That's
crazy.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
man.
Maybe just fold up like a mummy and gone.
Sometimes
No
the
one's
night
going outside.
But
nice, put it to sleep, man.
and then before you continue, some people ask me the question all the time, like, oh, how come you haven't gone back? It was a lot of financial issues. I wish I could have gone. I wish, I knew the stuff I knew now. Back then, as a youth, growing up really with just your mother and your brother, them, you don't really know about financially how to do certain things. So we learned that, and that's another conversation too, to set up, talk about society, the reason why everyone's, that's how they set us up. You know what I mean? But enough time, I would love to go to Jamaica plenty of times, but
Vibes, man.
financially it was, that was the reason why I couldn't go.
Alright. So let me ask you this now. Yeah, you ever dated a Caribbean woman?
Oh yeah.
So, what's your experience with dating Caribbean women?
It's the same thing.
Box is the same.
It's something different about that. Magic under there because you want to stay. Speaking about how we were talking about how like some of these people are going off on podcasts about gender and gender relationships. It's the same thing with, yes, culturally it's different. But it's the same thing what you can find with an American. Sometimes you're gonna get good ones, you're gonna get bad girls. It's the same thing. But I've dated mostly Jamaican. I've dealt with one Trini that was more like a kind of a friend with benefits. Well, two actually. Sorry, one was full Trini, one was like Trini American, but like it was more like friends with benefits type shit. And then the rest was just like Black American. But I dated. I've dealt with, so I never. It was either Trini or Jamaican. I never actually had like beige on our. It was a Jamaican and two Trini girls. That's it. Yeah.
So you rather black females?
The way I grew up, and from what I saw, that's always been my preference. Now with this whole TikTok thing and people were talking about fetishes and stuff like that, I always like to talk about this. I feel like it's such a good topic because I've never had a fetish. It's not like, oh yeah, just a black woman or what.
Sound like foot. Everybody see a foot and say, "Whoa, what a piece of foot!"
Damn, baby.
What a piece of foot.
Damn, baby. Can I taste your toes? No, I'm saying. That's another. Oh my God! But that was just from when I was growing up. That's what I saw. You know, it was crazy. Like I said, my friend and his, you know, what I mean, they was like really the only Jamaicans in the area. The rest of that was just Black American females I grew up with. And from when I saw that as a little kid, all I saw was beautiful dark skinned girls. I mean, light skinned too, but I've always gravitated towards like the dark skinned girls. I've always loved my first crush was always a dark skinned girl. I mean, the girls I always liked was dark skinned, but my first crush was this one girl in elementary school, yo. Just like she was just glow. I feel like she would glow every time I see her. I'm just like, yo, what the? She's like an angel, bro. Like I'm in love with this girl. Like I didn't know how to. Yeah, like so it was always a thing because I guess that's all I saw growing up, and it just became a thing for me. And after a while, like I tried to like date other Greek girls, but I felt like a lot of Greek girls saw me and said,
"You're not Greek enough."
Yeah, like especially when I was younger, I was like, oh, what's going on? Sophie, you know, that's another Greek popular name, Sophie or Eleni. Like, what's going on? How you doing? You know what I mean? Like I had that swag, so they probably saw me. What the fuck? There's all the other Greek dudes. A lot of most of the Greek people in my area, you know, I say most because not all, but most of them, the families had like businesses, like either restaurant, pizza business. Some of them got into like the electrical work and stuff like. So they had a good stable household. So they didn't grow up like how I did. So like that's why they were. I wouldn't say more Greek than me, but like they also grew up in the suburbs, and I feel like that made them lean towards more being the Greek. Right. Compared to like growing up in the streets where they're I'm Greek, but you know what I'm saying? So they probably saw me like.
So you felt they looked down on you?
Yeah, they looked down on me or trying to act like something. Because, you know, then you got some people like that, oh, you're trying to act like you're black. You're not black. I'm like, I ain't trying to act like I'm black. I'm acting because where I'm from. I'm a product of my environment. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm just
Eminem shit.
Yeah, it's not like I'm trying to be someone that I'm not. It's just like I can't help it. You know, it's not like I come from. Hey, I'm from Darien, Connecticut. Hi. Yo, you saw that? Yo, when I switched up, he just. Yo, one of the kids when I said hi, I'm from there. You're not used to it. That's like the first time you probably ever heard me speak properly.
They don't understand. That's why.
Yeah, because the way I grew up still. So,
it was. Yo, that's another. So like, so I think like you've been talking to some other white girls, like they were probably like, oh, okay, yeah, you're handsome, definitely. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Right. So that's the thing, because I always want to talk to a white girl, right? Yeah. But because I'm in an environment there, for talk to a white girl. Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So even if I'm sitting up on Instagram or whatever, I'm for DM the person.
I don't know how to approach it.
Yeah, because we're not in that environment.
I've never been with a white girl, so it's like I'm like, damn. Because I would like lyrics her, you know, when the lyrics are Jamaican girl.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, you already know the script.
But with a white girl, you don't know like what am I supposed to say to her? Like
the thing with that now is like them so intrigued with you. They're so intrigued no matter what you said, I got the right thing.
Nah, but that's if they're intrigued by you.
Yeah.
Right? You see what you said? Because he's a product of his environment. They kind of say, oh, you're handsome, but I'll see you later. So
not real talk, that's a thing too.
That's the thing, because when we were at Georgia, remember telling about Georgia? That Georgia over there at the bar, right? There was these two white girls, me and my friend. I'm a co-worker. Went to the bar, white bar, and him used to this, him used to everything, Chinese, everything. The man just man. Man know for shit of everything wicked. The man did it and like me and him at the bar and then the two girls on the other side. Men did that talk, I'm look, so the girl said I said, shut up. I'm not used to her. She white, there man said. I said, I'm just talking and touch my say, so I'm gonna go over there now. I talk, I'm in the office set. And I'm glad to the music kind of low too, because sometimes I get for pause and I think, why should I talk? Or if I respond back what should I say?
Right.
I'm gonna talk and think, well, can I say she's interested, like she like black people or whatever. But short story start, the funniest part of the thing is, the virgin on my dad, The man, I'm telling the man wicked. The man touched my say, "Yo, Jay, look, see when I kiss the girl." I'm like, what the? Tongue kiss. I'm like, yo, Bridget.
Yo.
It hasn't been 5 minutes yet, bro.
Yo.
That's how the man bad.
No, I thought
And that's how some, especially white females, free
Yeah,
speech.
man, quick and fast, man.
Free. Cause me, if me don't want to kiss her, she gonna kiss her too. Cause I even go in that bathroom, I'm knock it.
Yo, that's the one thing I can say. Where I grew up, Norwalk is kind of like, after the years it changed. Now it's like the same streets that was considered bad in the late 90s, early 2000s. Now it's like a mix of people. And now it's like a lot of these rich people. Ever since COVID happened, a lot of New York people came. You're talking about the rich, like wealthy New York motherfuckers came in these new condominiums. There's Washington Street. It's got all the clubs, the bars, and stuff like that. And like, I went a few times, and it's different. You know, it's college, but it's mostly like the white kids. You know what I mean? And it's funny. I'm like, yo, it's down the street from me. I'm like, but this is such a different environment. It's down the street from me. And I saw that, and I started seeing. I'm like, do these people know each other? And then I started snowing. Like people say, yo, sometimes people get drunk and they kiss each other in the club. Like, and they were like, but. And then my friend was like, that's mostly when you go to the white clubs. I'm like, yeah, because yo, if you got a dancehall party, I'm that girl. You're not. One thing we know, like, me never see a Jamaican girl seeing me and she say, "Don't kiss me, baby."
I mean, I can't find them, but it's harder.
Yeah,
I can't find them.
Because
that's why
I've never seen it. I've seen it in the white clubs as well. Like,
it's like,
and I just, yo, the man have one black boy and him have about 5, 6 of them. Just go down in line, so I suck out the wall of them tongue, and I'm like, nah, bro. And I say, yo, I can't do that, bro.
YOLO.
real white people, brother. I like them more vibe. Even when we go to Florida or Daniel, I mean, I go where I was bar hopping. I wish I be a white.
Yeah, that's fun to them. Nah, that's fun.
I wish I meet people and them. I would just talk. I'm like, yo, I don't know why I'm talking to this guy, but we talking right now. We're at talk.
hey, dude, you gonna party with us tonight? You come here. You look cool, dude. Your dreads are cool, man.
I'm like 15 away. I go from bar, white, black, everything. Even the same Georgia thing. We go to like back to back night. I want to enjoy. We just
You can't do that in the hood. Why?
You're not uptight, bro.
Everybody
I
just
like
a screw.
black people that's
I
uptight.
don't know what's supposed to be at that point, you know, but I have to watch them wide and
Exactly, bro.
Next man, I say, yo, we'll put 3 back up on the table and this man come with 5, so I gotta put 4 more.
Yeah, I
You know
hate.
what I mean?
That's why. Oh,
It's
no need to cut you off, but that's why I'm so glad. Like I got to know certain people, certain promoters, because when I first started getting like into the dancehall scene in Bridgeport, I used to go to some party. I'm gonna say, yo, what the fuck? Why isn't anybody dancing? That was one of the things when I was new. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Me alone. I'm like, nobody got dance. I'm like, what the? I thought dancehall was dancing. You see everybody out dressed up like. I'm like, is this it?
That's a question I was gonna ask you too. Like the difference that you see in parties back then and the parties now.
Ooh. Okay.
Back then it's nicer, bro.
Definitely.
Back in the days.
Everybody
Jesus.
Back then, I used to wear dirty. We used to wear dirty shoes, brother. Because I know some shoes that I get step up on. No, you got a party, you bush. And you just stand up in that car. Nobody now.
The girl them too dancing and all.
Yeah, and
they come to dance with my friend.
If you don't bring a girl with you, you're not having fun that night.
Yo, I'm gonna say this. Dancehall did nice before Snapchat. Done. Before Snapchat.
They be in a wine up the girl, a wine, and then my friend I slap up her body. And then the one come behind and try to look turn on and look on. You know, when them get out up there, they say, oh, you know, say you're ugly. You know, say you're ugly, and then they walk off like that.
So, I'm gonna say this. Because of my age, and like, maybe if I grew up in New York, it would have been different because some of the dancers that I tell me say, yo, I used to go to these parties when I was 15. Because, you know, I'm going to say that.
You know Romeo, right?
Oh, yeah.
Come back in the days, high school days, every party man Romeo go. Beer dance, a girl dance, no matter what. Everybody a dance, bro. Vibes nice, no? If I don't go with a girl, you're not having fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. Certain spots, I don't want to make it hot, but I mean it's 2023 now. It's too fucking late. Some spots, them not check your ID. They don't give a fuck. Them just gonna check you and say you're not no weapon, you're good.
Yeah.
So only like the real places, like if it's owned by like American them, you gotta get. They're gonna check your ID. But maybe if I grew up in New York, it would have been a little different because, like I said, they would say, I was getting in 15, but I got into the dancing scene late. I got it 2010, and in 2010, my birthday is September 21st, so during the summer of 2010, I was only 19. So, what you gotta say? Oh, you're too young for me. I'm like, bitch, I'm 26. Let's just have some fun. Yeah. Shut up. But
it's time to get to you, man.
Yeah.
19?
So, and I was still learning the party scene, like I was saying, the promoters. Because there was so many times I went to some party, I'm like, so, I'm gonna try roll up, then play a 3 dancing song, lock off. Like, I was like, bro, what the and then everybody started, and then I started going to some parties, I'm say, it's like they might play the same set of song.
Yep.
I'm like, yo, bro, I started asking questions, I'm like, bro, I'm gonna see one of the dancers, I'm like, bro, you need to help me. I was like, bro, I've been looking for another dancer in these parties for the past month. Right? I said, bro, you need to show me. I was like, listen, you're probably busy, but just show me a little bit. Because I'm saying, I'm going to these parties, and this is all I see. He was like, brother, watch this. You see this promoter here? This promoter here keep party for the flossers them. I said, flossers? I said, that means the motherfuckers, the flossers them on the okay, see, so when you go to them type of party, just notice everybody I show off them.
Yep.
What them I wear, how much them I drink, and
I stand up on.
I said, okay. And then he introduced me to some local DJs that were our age. I met DJ Colin, who's my age, in Bridgeport. And after I met DJ Colin, I met certain people. It was a wrap from there. Then I started to get to know people my age, people dancing, people my age. When we go to the party, like
a real scene.
A real scene. But I must say that there was a few flossers parties that I went to that they gave me a big forward, and I got to meet people because of them. So I'm grateful for some, because the first time I really got popular in Bridgeport was this party with Lady Rochelle and youth named Haskell. Now his name is they used to call him Haskell. I think Sequence. Now they call him Sequence. He's an artist. He did Sequence. He did a song with what him name who used to live at Stamford. Are we them gyal at top boat? Who sing that song there?
Kemar Icon.
Kemar Icon, yes. Because Kemar lived in Stanford and he lived in
Trash, bro.
What?
Niggas trash.
Chill. Oh shit.